Ilia Topuria was once a name whispered in gym corners and quiet analyst circles, but in just a few years, it exploded into the center of the MMA universe. From the bloody battlegrounds of Spain to the roaring octagons of the UFC, he carved his destiny with fists of fury and a mind sharper than steel. Legends fall, kingdoms burn, but Topuria rises, untouched by the doubts of lesser men. October 26th was the day he didn't just beat Max Holloway. He tore down an era, sending a tremor across the fighting world that still hasn't settled. And now, with the weight of nations behind him, Ilia isn't just challenging for belts, he's challenging the very hierarchy of combat itself, daring to question whether the so-called untouchables like Islam Makhachev are really invincible after all. The moment Ilia's fists found Holloway's chin and the king fell, a truth was written in blood. The era of old champions was over. No more playing safe, no more tactical decisions. This was the era of merciless kings who conquered without apology. Social media erupted like a battlefield, fans and fighters alike losing their minds at the thought of what could come next. And somewhere amidst the chaos, a prophecy was spoken out loud. What if Ilia Topuria was the one destined to stop the feared Dagestani dynasty? What if his fists, his heart, and his indomitable will could end the reign of Islam Makhachev? From whispers to roars, the idea refused to die. And as Ilia himself declared, he didn't come to be part of history. He came to be history. At first glance, it seems like madness to challenge the great Islam, a man whose dominance on the ground feels almost supernatural, whose wrestling flows with an eerie precision bred from the harsh mountains of Dagestan. But Ilia isn't built like the others who fell before him. He's not just a boxer, he's not just a wrestler, he's a storm, unpredictable, violent, and capable of drowning even the greatest in its surge. His recent dismantling of Max Holloway wasn't a lucky shot. It was a surgical execution that sent a chilling message to every lightweight contender. This isn't the same game anymore. Topuria doesn't just aim to beat you, he aims to leave your legacy in ruins. When analyzing the pure craft of boxing, names like Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway used to sit at the top. Men who threw combinations with poetic brutality, whose bloody wars defined the best of MMA's golden era. Yet even they, masters of precision and timing, felt the earth tremble under Ilia's fists. Holloway, a living embodiment of durability, was cracked and broken like never before. Poirier, who once made Makhachev's face a canvas of cuts and bruises, struggled against opponents with relentless striking volume. But Ilia isn't just volume. He's violence delivered with chilling efficiency. No wasted movement, no mercy, every punch a bullet, every kick a missile. And Islam, for all his greatness, has tasted the bitter edge of superior boxing before. Dustin Poirier, the American Diamond, once rocked Islam on the feet, forced him to the mat, forced him into desperate takedowns. The narrative that Islam is invincible on the feet was shattered that night, even if few dared to say it out loud. Ilia knows it. He saw it. He studied it like a predator stalking a wounded prey. Where others saw Islam's victories, Topuria saw opportunities, cracks hidden beneath the gold. And he knows. The path to beating Makhachev doesn't lie in surviving. It lies in imposing chaos, making Islam uncomfortable, dragging him into a world where footwork, hand speed, and raw brutality decide the outcome. Not just endless takedowns and suffocating top control. Yet it's not just about the hands. Everyone underestimates Ilia's wrestling pedigree. And that's the fatal mistake. Before the bright lights, before the millions of adoring fans, Topuria was a grappler first. Wrestling was his first language, his first weapon. It was only later that he sharpened his striking into a blade capable of splitting champions in two. 16 professional wins, 6 submissions, 6 knockouts. This isn't a fluke. This is a fighter who has mastered every facet of violence. And while Spain's wrestling scene isn't Dagestan's, the Ilia of today is not limited by geography. He trains with the best. He absorbs like a sponge, and he evolves faster than his enemies can prepare. For years, the myth of Dagestani invincibility has reigned supreme. From Khabib Nurmagomedov's undefeated dominance to Islam's suffocating style, the world has kneeled before their relentless wrestling. But legends are not made without cracks. When Volkanovski, the smaller Australian, prepared for Islam on just 1 week's notice and still dragged him into dangerous waters, the illusion weakened. If Alex had a full camp, if Dustin had just a little more gas, if Max had been a little sharper, the world might already look different. And now with Topuria's youth, ferocity, and calculated madness, the balance of power teeters on the edge. Endurance, that silent killer, looms large in every clash with Dagestani fighters. It's never just the takedowns that break men, it's the exhaustion, the soul-crushing reality of being dragged down, round after round, until even standing feels like climbing a mountain. But Ilia has seen the blueprint. He has trained to flip it, control the energy, exploit the gaps, keep moving, never surrender the back. Volkanovski showed flashes of it. Poirier exposed parts of it. Ilia aims to finish it, with fists that never tire and a heart that doesn't recognize defeat. There's something almost poetic about the inevitable clash between Topuria and Makhachev. One representing the old guard of suffocating control and technical perfection, the other representing the new wave of violence, precision, and evolution. Both warriors forged by different fires, destined to collide in a war that promises to shake the foundation of the sport. This is no ordinary title defense, no routine challenger. This is the moment where the future demands its place and the past fights to hold on to its fading throne. And for once, the invincible may find himself prey instead of predator. Make no mistake, Ilia Topuria doesn't just believe he can win. He knows it, in his bones, in his blood. The way he talks about Islam is different. No fear, no hesitation, just the calm certainty of a man who has already seen the victory in his mind. And that's what separates true legends from the merely talented. It's not just skill, it's not just training, it's belief. The unshakable kind that bends the universe to your will. The kind that rewrites history. Every war needs a battlefield, and every battle needs a reason worth fighting for. For Ilia Topuria, it's never been about belts or records. It's about legacy, about carving his name so deep into the stone of MMA history that generations will whisper it in awe. When he looks at Islam Makhachev, he doesn't see an unbeatable monster. He sees a man with habits, patterns, and weaknesses like any other. While others hesitate at the thought of Islam's takedown pressure, Ilia sees only opportunity, space to land a clean shot, a moment to unleash a storm. In the arena where fear cripples most, Topuria walks freely, a lion among anxious sheep. Some say Islam's greatest weapon is inevitability, the slow, grinding death of resistance. Like the ocean wearing down a cliff, Islam forces opponents to drown slowly in futility. But Ilia has no intention of letting the tide pull him under. He fights like a thunderstorm, abrupt and overwhelming. One clean shot could change everything. One scramble could flip the script. And Topuria is a master of seizing chaos, thriving where others crumble. His footwork isn't just for offense. It's a weaponized escape plan. Every step calculated, every pivot deadly. Islam will find no easy corner to trap him in, no slow suffocation. Not this time. Still, the doubters will say, look at the numbers, look at the wrestling pedigree. Islam has faced pressure before and conquered it, but they miss the truth buried beneath the statistics. No one has ever pressured Islam with fearless violence the way Ilia will. Volkanovski poked at the edges. Dustin punched through briefly. Topuria, he plans to break the door down. In the fights where Islam's aura cracked, the pattern was clear. Islam hesitates when confronted with unpredictable aggression. He thrives on controlling the rhythm. Take that away, shatter the rhythm, and suddenly he looks human, vulnerable. That's the world Ilia plans to drag him into. More than talent or technique, what defines Ilia is hunger. A hunger born from the rugged life of an immigrant fighter, a boy molded by struggle in a land that didn't welcome him easily. Spain and Georgia run through his veins like fire, and every step he takes into the octagon carries the dreams of two nations on his back. He doesn't just fight for glory, he fights for survival, for respect, for family. Against that kind of hunger, even the most perfect takedown, the most polished game plan can fall apart. Ilia fights like every punch carries his entire life's meaning, because in many ways it does. And don't be fooled by his smooth trash talk or the flamboyant suits. Underneath the bravado lies a warrior's heart sharpened by years of grinding work. No shortcuts, no handouts. Every jab, every sprawl, every brutal knockout has been bought with blood and sacrifice. Even in victory, Ilia never smiles for long. He knows the mountain never stops growing, that the next summit always looms, higher and harsher than the last. While others get drunk on fame, Topuria remains sober, clear-eyed, chasing something far beyond money or headlines. He's chasing immortality, the kind you can't fake, can't buy, and can't steal. There's an old saying in combat, styles make fights, and nowhere is that more true than here. Islam's style is suffocation, Ilia's is eruption. In a world where the patient hunter usually wins, what happens when the prey strikes first? Faster, harder, without fear. It's not just that Ilia can land punches. It's that he lands them with terrifying consequence. Ask Bryce Mitchell, ask Josh Emmett, ask Alexander Volkanovski. Men who had never been broken suddenly found themselves staring up at the lights, wondering where it all went wrong. That's the storm Ilia brings into every cage. And for once, Islam may find himself standing in a hurricane he can't outrun. Even among experts and insiders, whispers have started growing louder. Could it really happen? Could Topuria be the one to topple the great Makhachev? In closed-door gym sessions, fighters who have sparred with Ilia speak in a different tone, quiet, almost reverent. His speed, they say, is different. His instincts, sharper. His willpower, unnerving. And when you combine those elements inside a man who refuses to break, you don't just get a contender. You get a problem so big even the kings start to feel the ground shake beneath their feet. It's no longer a question of if Ilia challenges Islam, it's a question of when. But perhaps the most dangerous thing about Ilia isn't his hands, or his wrestling, or even his stamina. It's his mind. In a sport littered with men who lose themselves after the first taste of fame, Ilia remains locked in, laser-focused, immune to the distractions that destroy lesser champions. When he says he will beat Islam, he says it with the terrifying sincerity of a man who has already fought the battle in his head 1,000 times and won it each time. The media chatter, the Vegas odds, the expert breakdowns, none of it touches him. In his mind, victory is not an option, it's a certainty. And what happens when two certainties collide? When Islam, the heir to Khabib's throne, the Dagestani machine programmed for dominance, meets the one man too wild, too fast, too relentless to be programmed against? The answer is chaos. Beautiful, terrifying chaos. A collision of unstoppable forces that won't end in decision points or handshakes. It will end with one man broken on the mat, staring at the ceiling, questioning everything he thought he knew about fighting, about survival, about himself. And for the first time in a long time, the world truly believes it might not be Islam's hand raised when the dust clears. As the clock ticks toward that inevitable clash, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just another fight. This is an epoch-defining war. The kind of battle that reshapes divisions, rewrites legacies, and burns itself into the soul of the sport forever. And standing at the center of that storm, fists clenched, eyes unblinking, heart unshakable, is Ilia Topuria, the man who came from nothing, carrying everything, ready to take it all. In the world of mixed martial arts, every generation believes it has seen the peak, that no one can come closer to perfection than the champions of their era. Yet every so often, someone comes along who makes even greatness look mortal. Ilia Topuria is that someone. Not because he dismisses the past, but because he dares to surpass it. Every punch he throws carries the message, your time is over. Every slip, every counter, is a reminder that evolution doesn't ask permission. It happens whether you're ready for it or not. And when it collides with the old kings, it shows no mercy. The fans, the analysts, even the old legends, they all feel it deep down, even if some won't admit it yet. A change is coming. Like a gathering storm over the once untouchable mountains of Dagestan, the winds have shifted. Islam's calm dominance, once absolute, now feels precarious. The debates rage louder every day. Does Islam's ground game nullify Ilia's firepower? Or will Ilia's relentless pressure expose the cracks that have always been there, hidden beneath the weight of Islam's reputation? These questions hang in the air, heavy and electric, waiting for a night where words give way to war. When Ilia talks about his journey, he speaks not of belts or money, but of destiny. He doesn't flinch at the thought of facing Islam's legendary grappling. He welcomes it, hungers for it, because he knows the truth that few dare whisper. The Dagestani style, for all its brilliance, is not invulnerable. It's a fortress built on patterns, predictable patterns. And in war, the soldier who can disrupt patterns is the one who wins. Ilia's greatest weapon isn't his power, it's his chaos, his refusal to play by the old rules, his willingness to walk straight into the fire and drag his enemy out of it. For Islam, this fight would be unlike any he's faced before. There would be no safe rounds, no moments to coast, no periods of control where time bleeds away in his favor. From the first bell to the last second, every moment would be survival, every exchange a gamble, every takedown attempt a risk of eating a brutal counter. In Topuria, Islam faces something he's never truly faced before. A man who is just as skilled on the ground, just as deadly on the feet, and infinitely more reckless in the pursuit of victory. A fighter who would rather die on his shield than play it safe. And if Islam's reign was built on suffocating hope out of opponents, Ilia's career has been about igniting hope in others. The belief that the new wave can not only challenge the old guard, but conquer it. When he knocked out Holloway, he didn't just win a fight, he shattered an illusion. And if he steps into the cage with Islam and walks out victorious, he won't just win a title, he will shatter a dynasty. And in that moment, every fighter who once feared the Dagestani style will realize that kings, too, can bleed. Topuria's edge also lies in his complete freedom from expectation. He doesn't carry the pressure of defending a legacy built by others. He carries only the weight of his own ambition, forged in anonymity and sharpened under the cruel light of doubters. While Islam fights to preserve the myth of Dagestani dominance, Ilia fights with nothing to lose and everything to gain. That freedom breeds danger. It allows him to take risks others would never dare. And when risk meets skill at the highest level, miracles happen. The very thought of Ilia stepping into lightweight, calling out Islam without hesitation, electrifies the air. It isn't just about skill anymore. It's about aura. It's about a young lion walking into the den of an aging one. Not to kneel, but to roar louder, sharper, and more ferociously. It's the kind of challenge that either cements a champion's legend forever or begins the fall of an empire. And it's coming faster than anyone expected. The tables are set. The pieces are moving. All that's left is for the gates to close and destiny to play its brutal hand. If history has taught us anything, it's that no kingdom lasts forever. Not even the great ones. The Romans fell. The Mongols fractured. Empires built on dominance always believe they are immune to the forces of change, until they aren't. And now, on the bloody canvas of the UFC, another empire faces its reckoning. The clash between Topuria and Makhachev isn't just a fight. It's a battle for the soul of modern MMA, a struggle between the rigid brilliance of yesterday and the chaotic genius of tomorrow. As the anticipation reaches a fever pitch, one undeniable truth remains. Neither man will leave the cage the same. For one, it will be the crowning moment of an extraordinary career. For the other, the beginning of the end. Blood will be spilled. Legends will tremble. And when the dust settles, the fighting world will speak a new name with awe and reverence. Or whisper about the day the unstoppable met the immovable, and the world itself seemed to hold its breath. And somewhere in the echoes of that future war, one truth will remain, unshakable and chilling. When Ilia Topuria steps into a cage, history isn't just made, it's rewritten in blood.